And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
I think I'll start with my story, probably a good place to start. Going through some hard times. I have been married for 7 years, and we met when I was 17. 19, we got married. I had my first daughter when I was 21, and my second daughter when I was 23. And I'm now 26. And with your help, I have learned a lot since that time when I first met my partner. So I've changed a lot, and
Everyone does.
yeah, I'm feeling that. So I'm going to just read a couple pointers, just basically my struggles, and no, just to shed some light.
Practice a vibration that I no longer want to move forward.
Yes, for sure. I feel like I've healed a lot, but I just want to...
But here's the thing. So usually when someone wants to tell us their story, we say, let's not do that. Because wherever you are standing really is the culmination of your story. But more important, there's the story that you've allowed to unfold, but there's also a vortexual story. And our greatest value to you is to help you move from wherever you are, which is fine, to this vortexual story, and spending any time going back and describing the struggle. It's like saying, I'm going to climb to the top of that hill, but before I do, I'm going to dig a 2,000-foot hole, and I'm going to start down there, and then I'll bring myself back to ground zero, and then I will start climbing to my objective. And we say, it could go so much easier. But there is a tendency to want to justify where I stand by what I've been living through.
I guess I used the wrong words, maybe, just to help you answer my question.
Well, we've got you.
Yeah.
We've got you. So
Let me just read my question.
Just ask your question.
Okay. I feel like I have done the work, and a year ago I wasn't very happy, but today I feel really good.
That's a really good story.
I'm happy.
Keep telling that one.
Yes, I feel you. Definitely. And so I didn't even know you. Abraham, law of attraction, I definitely felt it, but I didn't know all the details until I did.
But you know the difference between happy and not, don't you?
Yeah.
You're born knowing
Well,
that.
because I was feeling it, but I just didn't know the details,
Yeah.
which you've taught.
Yes.
And now that I know them, well, my vortex is just there waiting and willing, and I'm definitely here and reaching for it.
Yes, being called to it. Getting clues all the time.
Yeah, definitely. And so I feel like maybe I need a new partner. But
Maybe.
at the same time, maybe I just need to be me for a while. And so my struggle is that I have 2 little girls at home that are fairly young. And I fear kind of taking that next step.
When you fear anything, don't take the next step.
Okay. Good advice.
Because there's resistance in your vibration. So even though the next step, it won't be the end of the world, it will be clarifying. But when there is fear within you, the most unhelpful thing that anyone can do is something that they can feel resistance about. In other words, to do something that you believe is wrong, that doesn't work out well for you. To do something that you're afraid to do, there are a lot of people that would say, oh, just push through it. And when you push through it, then you'll get over being afraid of it. And what we encourage you to do instead is to come into vibrational alignment with what you want first. Find the thoughts that feel good, because the fear is there for a reason. The fear is saying there's resistance within you that is going to attract some of what you want and some of what you don't want. Why not clean it up before you take the action?
So it's just not time yet.
It's not about time, it's about alignment. Here's a good way to put it, and you'll like this. You're always in the receiving mode of something. Let's say that you were having a particularly difficult time with the children, and you were feeling overwhelmed and sort of on your own. And then you get this idea that you really need somebody to help you out. Well, that is a sort of receiving mode, but it's not the receiving mode from your empowerment. It's the receiving mode from your vulnerability. You see what we're getting at? And so it's good for you to just be aware. What are you receiving? And what you are receiving is always about what you're projecting. So the best thing to do, and you're good at this, make your decisions, especially those ones that feel big like that, make them from your place of feeling really good. So when you're high flying, when you're all tuned in, tapped in, turned on, when you're feeling a zest for life, you feel like your life is wonderful and you'd like to share it with someone else, and you'd like to meet up with someone else who's having a wonderful life, and you'd like that person to share their life with you, then that's a different kind of receiving mode, and there's no fear involved in that. But if you're feeling fear, it's definitely a receiving mode. We're not saying it would go terribly wrong. We're just saying it could go so much better, which is what you are wanting. Yeah. So your words, it's just not time yet. That could be one way of saying it. I'm just not consistently in my place of alignment enough to assure myself that smooth, sweet spot of unfolding. And particularly as it involves your little girls. That's the part. You're wanting that to be
balanced,
yeah.
Right? So I think my other main question would be, so my husband's quite negative, and I'm connecting to the more positive side of myself.
Yes.
So now, am I going to start seeing results because I'm staying positive and focused?
Results in him?
Yeah, the
None
law
your
of
business.
attraction,
None of your
pull it
business.
out of him.
None of your business.
So then the other question would be, is him being more negative and me focusing on me, will it hinder me to stay around his negative energy?
Well, here's the thing. It might hinder you and it might really help you, because people who feather your nest don't help you decide, and they don't help you focus deliberately. So there is an advantage to you being determined that you want to feel good and becoming a better selective sifter. We talk a lot about the difference between conditional love, which is if you'd behave better, I'd feel better. And most people are reacting to what's going on, the things that they are observing. But that's a rough ride, because there's a lot going on. If you are merely an observer and a reactor, then you have no control.
No, I've gotten better.
But if you care about how you feel, then you're not so reactionary. Then you are more consistent in your alignment. And then sometimes you influence another to different behavior, but that's really not the point. It's to find your alignment. And we know it is easier to be around those who are feeling good, but since you can't control how anyone else feels, it's a better plan to just decide that you're going to pay attention to how you feel. And then what happens is, the more you know that, and the more you practice feeling good, and the more you do feel good, the more you maintain that better feeling set point, then even though you may have a very important, and it is, and close, and it is, relationship with another person who's not trying to be positive, who's not trying to tune in, your timing will be wonderful, because your inner being is calling you to your path of least resistance, knowing who you are and knowing what you're wanting. And so if you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you get an impulse to make a phone call and you're feeling great about doing it, you're going to have good timing, and you're going to discover a person in a better place than usual, you see. But if you're lamenting the fact that you're feeling positive more and he's seeming negative more, and that's the receiving mode that you're in, then you'll get the impulse to make that call at that time, just to validate what you felt. So when we said to you, it's none of your business, that sounds harsh. The father of my children is none of my business. This relationship is none of my business. And we say, the reason we say it's none of your business is because you have no control over it. And a lot of people still are unwilling to accept that. They really believe that they can control others. Parents believe they can control their children. You can't. They just get sneaky and withdrawn. Employers believe they can control their employees. You can't. They just get sneaky
Can I add to
and
that?
withdrawn. Yes?
Well, I think my husband kind of believes he can control me as well.
Doesn't matter what he believes.
Yeah, so just do what I gotta do.
Doesn't matter what he believes. Be just like the children to their parents. Look at them as if to say, I know what you think you're doing, but how's this working out for you? We are really promoters of harmony, even though these statements don't seem like it. But we're promoting your harmony with who you are. We want you to align with your own clarity and your own power and your own vitality, and then engage, you see. And you already know all of this because you've already been living a lot of it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Sometimes people will say, Abraham, I'm doing better. I'm feeling a lot better more of the time. I believe I am creating my reality deliberately, but those people at work are so negative. This situation is so negative. Do you think I should leave this situation? And sometimes we say yes, because we can feel such a difference in the vibrational nature of the person that we're talking to and the vibrational countenance of the environment that they're in. But what we really want to say is, if you maintain who you really are, and you're in an environment that is not doing that, law of attraction will cause a natural splitting of the ways. But what happens with so many is that instead of maintaining your high frequency, you observe what's going on. So instead of maintaining your high frequency, you maintain the frequency of what's going on. And then it takes so much willpower to pull yourself away. You just can't do it. There's no help from the universe. There's no natural harmony. In other words, we want to call a breakup often harmony. There's no natural harmony. Instead, you just keep getting pulled in. And that's when it feels like somebody else is controlling you. They're not controlling you. Your attention to them and what they think is causing you to offer enough resistance that your true resources are not kicked in all the time. So it feels like you're being pulled in directions that you don't want to go. So the answer to that is distract yourself. Don't hit it head on, because the relationship that you've been focused upon is a more difficult one. Focus upon the ones that are easy, like your children and your friends and the other things that are going so well. And then watch the universe help you out.
Yeah.
Enough?
Yeah, I feel good. Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you.